Let me see. Yeah. All right. We are live. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our international ground round. I'm very pleased today. We are going a little bit in change our fields. Today, we are going to talk some health and some yoga. I've requested our guest, which is Shobha Rana from India. Good afternoon, Shobha.
Good afternoon, Dr. Puya.
So I've requested. I had the chance, sorry, to be able to connect with Shobha from one of my colleague. Um, so I've been introduced to Shobha, and I've requested her to have a talk on what types of yoga could be potentially good for any one of us. And the reason for that is because there's a lot of talks around yoga, breathing techniques, and others. So we have actually, specifically go through each one of them and decide what fits for us. Because sometimes our chances to choose something that we can get bored of will be a lot. So why not choosing first, then realizing if we have to rearrange or not. So today, Shobha, she's a great, she's very well known. She's online. You can go to her Instagram pages and personal pages. You can watch a lot of activities from her. So she is going to talk about which type of yoga is fits for us. So I'm very pleased to have you here today. For anyone interested for the questions, as usual, all the questions should be asked at the end of her presentation, because she's going to present something, some slides, and after that, for what I understood, she's going to talk about breathing or yoga in general. Thank you so much, Shobha. So I will lead the torch to you, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Puya, for having me, first of all. It's great connecting with you. And, world has certainly become a very small place with this internet connectivity. And especially after the COVID, I think all of us have been locked in our homes, but such great opportunities have opened up for somebody like you and me who are sitting so far off from each other, who probably didn't even know that we existed in certain parts of the world. Today we are connecting through this beautiful medium and, being a part of this chat. I hope it brings some meaning to your audiences, and I'm delighted to be a part of this conversation here. So, in today's time, especially after the pandemic hit us all, we all have been shaken, so bad to work upon ourselves, our physical health, mental health, enhancing the immunity of ourselves, and all of us have, are finding ourselves to be in a position where we are sort of compelled to go back to our roots from where it all started and how to take care of your health in a more holistic way. There are all kinds of sciences, and you are a doctor yourselves. So all of the advancement that medical profession has done. Yet there are certain underlying things, those lie to very primary existence of us, at a very primal level. So yoga is something like that. It's a very old, ancient form of, you could call it science, wisdom, but these are most holistic and most real practices which are proven over and over and over thousands of years to yield good for humankind. And that is and that is why probably all of us in today's time are inquisitive about it, are curious to learn more about it, and are curious to join yoga classes. So I have a small presentation that I have made for your audiences. I would like to share that with you. So,
In order to do it, there's a small button below, which is share screen. You can press on that and share the presentation or the application that you're using. Perfect.
right. So I've
Exactly.
come to a whiteboard sort of a thing. Right. Let me, one moment. So this is what technology is, sometimes it surprises you in ways. I always get a little stuck on technology, but I hope I'm at the right presentation.
There's a pencil in here, so I guess that you open up a board.
Yes, there I am. Can you see that?
Nope, you
I
have
hope
to
you all
do it
can see
again.
that presentation.
No, unfortunately not. I think that you have to. Share it again.
Okay. Can you see it now, though?
Let me see. Yes, meet me. Perfect.
Great. So let's talk a little about yoga. But first of all, who am I? So, something that is common between you, me, and all of us here today is that you don't know what I'm going to talk, neither do I. So it's direct from my heart and the years of learning of this beautiful practice of yoga. I just want to share some bit of my knowledge with you, and I hope it will prove worthy of your time. So my name is Shobha Rana. I am a mindfulness and holistic health coach, and I'm a founder of a brand called the Yogini Square, which is again an alternate health and holistic health services brand. And under this brand, we do mindfulness workshops, we do yoga classes for corporates, for individuals, we do meditation sessions, and everything that broadly falls under the umbrella of yoga, how we know it in the modern world today. Now, who am I? So I have been, you can see this slide. So I worked as a show host for many years. I still do because of the pandemic, the events are not happening. Everything around the world is cancelled. So that's how I am finding time to be with myself more these days. But that's my main job of an anchor, a live show host. I'm also a model. And, uh, and apart from that, I love traveling. I love to read. I like to hike, camp. There's a picture of me at the Grand Canyons. I like swimming. I like to scuba dive. Yoga is one of my passions. I like to go in the mountains whenever I get a little time. I squeeze it out and all of that. So I like connecting with nature. Like connecting with myself. So that is broadly a little bit about me. I'm a thrill seeker in life, and my journey, how it all began. So if you see, I know the picture is quite funny on the left, but that is me exactly in all my elements. I have been a very carefree person all my life, minding my own business, much like our audiences here today. Everybody has got their jobs going on and things going on in your life, and everything is going on for you, and you sort of lose the sense of your own purpose, during this whole making the ends meet and this whole race that we all become a part of intentionally or unintentionally. But we sort of lose the sense of where we want to head. It just becomes about your profession, and you're just going to your workplace, coming back, and that's your life. And that's how it was for me. That's my picture from one of the vacations, work vacations, and that's how I had become. Although my weight was never a problem for me to sort of switch gears and think of yoga, I have always been practicing one or the other forms of workouts for myself over the last many years. But there came a time when I felt a disconnect between my mental, health and my physical health. All of that, it all started to come crashing down. Not that I was undergoing any condition myself. I was healthy, hearty, traveling around the world, living the life of my dreams and making ends meet and paying my bills, and all of that was happening for me. But then somewhere in the year 2016, I happened to attend a yoga class. And from there, it all started to happen. And I got so intrigued. The more I read about the practice, the more I read about the philosophy of yoga, the history of yoga, how it came into existence, how it is such a proven holistic way to take care of your health. I started getting more and more intrigued, and then started my journey. Then I moved to doing my teacher training programs for myself, and I became a trained professional in the year 2018. And since then, I have been taking classes and corporate workshops all around the world. So that's how my journey started, and now there is no looking back. I have absolutely fallen in love with the practice. You can see there is a huge change, and when people see these two pictures, they just see the physical changes those have happened. But there are so many changes which happen at the mental level. The awareness that came in with yoga. It is not like any other just random kind of a workout that you do, and you just become maybe thin or you lose weight and whatever. But it's a workout that works on your mind first. There's a whole sense of acceptance that comes from your within for yourself, loving yourself where you are today, and then you march on this journey and you slowly see the physical changes happening in you. So physical changes and getting to a fitter self and all of that is a byproduct of being on this beautiful journey, this very positive and holistic approach. What is yoga? Now, first of all, let's understand what exactly do we mean by yoga. So, yoga, if you go into the technical meaning of the word, it comes from a Sanskrit word called yuj. which means union. So yoga is basically union. Now we're talking about union of what? What is uniting with what? So, it is the union of your own self with your own self, your inner self, or your higher conscious, or the universe that you live in. Something that goes beyond this body. So that is what yoga is talking about, and it is a little overwhelming to understand in the beginning. But once you start implementing the practice in your life, you realize that you really start connecting with something beyond this body. In today's time, the kind of life that we are leading, everything we do is for this body. We want to eat, exercise, sleep, roam around, travel, hobbies, whatever we do it for this body. But once you get into the practice of yoga, meditation, mindfulness, you start to realize that things are going much more deeper than just this body level. Then that's where you try connecting with your higher consciousness, and that's called your calling in life, or that's called your various names to it, the divine energy, the universal energy, and all of that. So yoga, in a simple word, if I have to say, it is nothing but mindfulness. It is being mindful about 100% in present. In today's time, you and I, Dr. Puya, if I have to say, we either are living in the past, what happened yesterday, what that person did to me, what my boss said to me, what opportunities I missed, or we are living in future, what's coming up next, what is my next big opportunity, what can I do to excel there, what can I not do, who am I going to meet tomorrow, what am I going to eat, all of this. We are hardly living in the present at this very moment that is just going by. So yoga slowly over time teaches you to be more aware of the present and live in the present and be mindful about everything that is happening around you right now. And that is why it asks you to focus on the breath. Breath is one of the most neglected, action of ourselves, and it is the one act that we are born doing, that we are born with. When we are born, we breathe, and it is an involuntary exercise that happens all through our life. Each and every cell in our body is breathing every single moment of our existence on this planet. But are we really aware about it? No, we stop connecting with it. We stop even paying attention to it. And that is why the concept of yoga is very, very important in today's time. Even a lot of health ailments, if I talk about, if you see stress, anxiety, depression, these have all become very major and big words. But if you see what is the cure for this, they often talk about going into a little bit silence, getting into a little bit of meditation practice. What is all this? What does meditation or yoga really teach you? It teaches you to be in the present moment as it is. So that is why yoga in today's time is very, very important. Moving forward. Now, the topic that we have for today is what yoga is best for me. But before that, let's understand what are the different types of yoga. Now, before understanding that, why should I do yoga? Why should I not do something else? Or how is it going to help me? So now the ultimate aim of yoga, if I get into the scriptures and the ancient history of yoga, the sages and these rishis, they used to do yoga because they wanted to attain some sort of liberation. They wanted to just be liberated from these worldly sorrows, pain, happiness, all of these emotions. That's why they practiced yoga. So their approach towards yoga was more for the liberation kind of a reason. Now, when you talk about liberation, when you talk about arriving a point where you feel nothing, today you and I are suffering because we feel a lot of things. If somebody says something to us, we are either sad or we are very happy, then that evokes certain another kind of emotions within us. When we are when somebody says something bad to us, we are sad, we take it to our heart, we become sad. If somebody says more mean things to us, we even go into depression. All of these emotions happen. So liberation is basically a state of equanimity, equilibrium. You come to a point where you are not impacted by all of these worldly problems. Those are impacting us today, and those are leading to a lot of physical and mental ailments for us. So to reach this path of liberation, to reach this path where we become one with everything, and where we don't have these feelings disturbing us, we have 4 different paths here. So first is called Bhakti Yoga, which is a devotional path. If you are somebody who has a lot of faith, who has a lot of, who is slightly emotional, then this is the path that you take. You become devoted. There are people who are very devoted to the church mass. They're people who are very devoted to temples and various other religious activities, or maybe a concept even, not just the god, maybe some other concept that you're very devoted to. So that is your style of yoga. Even that is yoga, because you are reaching to that path of becoming more conscious, becoming more kind, more compassionate through that path. So that is called bhakti yoga. Then come karma yoga. Some people don't believe in devotion. They don't believe in even doing any physical practices. They just believe in doing their duty right. And that is karma yoga. Like you are a doctor. For you, yoga could be just doing your job with 100% honesty, with 100% compassion, with 100% yourself, giving it out there with a pure intention. So that could be your yoga. That's called karma yoga. That is what you're doing as a duty. Then there comes something called jnana yoga, which is about knowledge, where you try to read a lot of scriptures, where you try to acquire knowledge about something through various activities. Reading is a very primal level of how you acquire knowledge. So that could be your path to sort of become more aware and be more in the present moment. So that is another. And then the last come Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga is basically the physical form of yoga, the yoga that we as a modern society know, which talks about asanas or postures, which talks about hanging upside down, which talks about sitting in silence and meditating. So this is the last kind of path that we all really take in today's time. So I'm going to be talking more about this from the modern perspective. Now, yoga for fitness. Now, coming from that little bit of history and background, let's move towards the relevance of yoga in today's time. So what is yoga for fitness? What are the different kinds? So first of all, let me talk about Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga is a yoga flow or practice where you move around from one yoga posture to another. You hold in a posture and just observe your breath. You could be holding in the postures for a longer time in this kind of a style of yoga. Then comes Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga is more about breathing and focusing and then moving along with the breath. There is a typical series that has a set of 26 asanas, which are done a couple of times. It has certain series. So that's the kind of class you would go to if you're looking for something very structured and, one style of it. So every class of an Ashtanga Yoga is same because they follow certain series. So anywhere around the world you go, you will find Ashtanga yoga classes which talk about a set of postures which are done in a particular sequence, and that's one kind of yoga that we know in the modern day and age. Then moving on to Vinyasa yoga or Vinyasa flow. Now, flow and Ashtanga are different in a way that asanas or postures that we do in both of these could be same, but no two Vinyasa classes in the world or for any two teachers are going to be the same because they are going to be using their own creativity, their own flow. They might ask you to lie down on the mat and then jump to another position and very fluidly move to some other posture and move into postures according to their creativity, how they see it. It's not one particular flow. Each and every class of Vinyasa yoga across the world is going to be different. So if you are somebody who is looking for creativity, who is easily bored, who is looking for to experience something different in each class, then Vinyasa yoga is the kind of practice for you. If you are somebody who's looking for very structured class, Ashtanga yoga is the practice for you. If you are somebody who's looking to be working on his flexibility and holding in the postures for a longer time to release the tensions in your body more, then Hatha yoga is your pick. Coming to Iyengar yoga, this has also gained a lot of popularity across the world. So Iyengar yoga was popularized by Mr. B.K. Iyengar, who is the founder of this discipline of yoga. So he popularized it in 1970s sometime it started, and then it moved to the West. It reached the United States, and from there it gained a lot of popularity. And now there are a lot of Iyengar yoga studios around the world. So how this is different from the other styles? Again, your postures and asanas, the ways in which your body can move can only be a few ways, right? You can either do a back bend, or you can bend forward, or you can stretch, or you can laterally bend your body, right? These are 4-5 movements. So these 4-5 movements are going to be happening in all kinds of your yoga classes. But in Iyengar yoga, they use certain props. They use, let's say, a pillow, a chair, a piece of cloth, or a belt, or something like that, to adjust their body into those postures using those objects, using those props. So that is a younger yoga class. So if you are somebody who's looking to be more interested, who is looking to who is maybe right now at the level of less flexibility, or you want to enhance your flexibility further, then Iyengar yoga is a good match for you. It's a good class for you, because they will be giving you certain props with which you can go into the positions that you on your own can't. Like if they give you a belt and you have to bend forward, then using that belt, you can use the power and go slightly more forward than what you can naturally with your own body go. Right? Next is Bikram yoga or hot yoga. Again, extremely popularized in the year 1970, 75 around the globe. Now, Bikram yoga is again a very set patterned class. It's about 90 minutes of a yoga class, and every class is same. There's a set series of asanas, those are performed. Why it is called hot yoga? Because the temperature of 40 degrees centigrade Celsius with 40% of humidity is maintained in a Bikram hot yoga class. So it's not going to be in an air conditioned or a fan kind of an environment. It's going to be hot, 40 degrees Celsius temperature, 40% humidity in the room, a 90-minute of class where you are just going to sweat, 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 and sweat more. So if you are somebody who likes to do that, and why do they do it in a hot environment? Because when you are put into a hotter environment, you are able to push yourself a little bit more. Your body is able to stretch more. The more colder temperatures you are in, your body crumbles up. The more hotter the room gets, you can sort of unwind. Like you must have noticed in the winters how we are like crumbled up. Even stretching our arms is a work, and in summers we can go like full swing. So that's the concept of Bikram yoga, hot yoga, to go into even further deeper stretches and sweat a lot. If you're looking to lose weight and quickly lose weight, then Bikram yoga is also one of the very good solutions for you. There's something called Kundalini yoga. There, it's a different kind of yoga. Now, Kundalini is sort of a dormant energy in our body that lies at the bottom of your spine, at the tip of your spine. It's they say that it's like a coil, like a serpent, like a snake. It sits there about 3.5 meters long. That coil is, and it's dormant. It's not active. We don't even know what it's, but it has immense powers. If you are able to activate it somehow, very few people can do it, and it is always done in the presence of this practice is always done in the presence of a guru, more like in a one-on-one format, where you try to activate these dormant energies in your body, where to reach to even higher level of consciousness and things. So it involves chanting and making a certain movements with your body, and meditation, a lot of internal reflection and meditating over ideas, things, concepts that the guru tells you. So that is Kundalini yoga. It is practiced little less in today's time. So if you're somebody who wants to go towards the meditative aspect of it, who wants to sit for longer periods of time and know their body more, maybe Kundalini yoga is the kind of classes that you should go to. Now, there's another kind of yoga called Yin yoga. It's become very popular, the Yin and Yang yoga, as they say in the West. So, what is it? Now, Yin yoga comes from, it's a restorative form of yoga. Here, you are not looking to get into some crazy postures. You are not looking to get into a headstand or a handstand or invert upside down. Here, you are just doing deep tissue stretches. You're just lying down on or sitting in a posture and just trying to go deeper and just lie there and hold for longer times. So the people who don't want to do a lot, who don't want to do a lot of activity, who just want to just be in one position and stretch further and enjoy that sweet little pain you get after stretching your body beyond a point, they sort of get into this Yin yoga style of practice. People who don't want to move around or jump around or physically exert themselves, they can go for this kind of a practice. And even when you're doing other, yeah, Dr.
I have a question before the end, because this is important for the people that are suffering some kind of disease from the upper respiratory system, which means from the mouth, the nose, the sinuses, until the larynx, and those ones that are suffering from disease of the lower respiratory system, which comprise, for example, chronic bronchitis, asthma, and all that. So can we then have a short talk with those people? What would you suggest to them to avoid any exacerbation of their pathology? Because sometimes those could be exacerbated from those kind of respiratory exercises. So after this, I will give you the torch once again. Sorry.
So if you are suffering from any kind of head, your ENT related issues, then first of all you need to take care of this before getting into any of these yoga classes, because they talk about the full body movements. If your this is not okay at the moment, you're not able to breathe properly, how are you going to concentrate or focus on the postures? You can't. If you're not able to breathe properly, you have sinuses issues and all of that. So first you have to correct that. Now there are various cleansing methods in yoga that it talks about, where there are different kinds of, first of all, breathing patterns also, which help you release a lot of tension from your sinuses, a lot of tension from your forehead, from your ears. And there are different kinds of pranayama practices. Those help in a lot with your breathing, control over your breath. And everything in your body is regulated through your breath, right? All that your body is doing, it is happening because you're breathing, because your breath is happening in a certain way. And even the diseases, they come in your body because your breath is not regulated well. Somewhere there is some interruption in the flow of your breath, or in the language of yoga we call it prana shakti. Prana is something, if I vaguely translate it in English, then it is breath, but it is much more deeper and much more bigger than the breath, actually. So we say that this prana shakti is driving your whole body, right? So if you are able to understand this, and if you are able to regulate it with the pranayama practices, with doing breathing exercises practices, then you get sort of a holistic control on your body. So there are many exercises, like let's say deep breathing. Just sit in silence, maybe close your eyes, you can keep them open, and just deeply inhale and exhale. You could maintain a ratio of your inhalation and exhalation as seen. Like if you're inhaling for 3 counts, you exhale for 3 counts. Count to yourself within your brain. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. So your length of breathing in and breathing out should be same. That is one kind of a breathing practice. There is another kind of a breathing practice where your breathing in and your out should be in a different kind of a ratio. There are other kinds of practices which work more on your forehead, or the energies, those are stuck here. So these are the practices that you can adapt to sort of cleanse your system here before moving on to the physical part of it. This slide was basically yoga for fitness. By fitness, I mean physical fitness, because that is where people are getting stuck, and that is what they need solutions for today, on a very primary level. But yeah, there are particular, there could be particular issues to people, like one you pointed out, the ENT related issues. Some people could have bone health related issues. Some people could have digestive health related issues, and various other issues. So there is a different and solid techniques in yoga for targeting all of these problems. So yeah, so it definitely does help in that direction.
Thank you for the explanation. So please proceed and let's go forward with your presentation.
Yeah, so I was talking about the yin yoga. So if you are somebody who doesn't like to jump around a lot, who doesn't want to make a lot of movements with the body, who wants to take it easy, who just wants to go into a deeper stretch and relax, and enjoy that sweet little pain that comes when you are in holding in a posture, or once you are in a stretching position, then yin yoga is the kind of yoga for you. But also the other practitioners who do intensive yoga, who do a lot of postures, who hanging upside down and all of that. They also practice yin yoga to sort of release tension and stress from their muscles. So it's a very restorative, very healing kind of yoga. So if you're looking for something like that, then yin yoga is your pick. Now, this concept has come in aerial yoga or anti-gravity yoga. In this, there are studios specialized which have these trapezes hanging from the ceiling, and people go onto those trapezes and they make certain shapes with their bodies, and be flowing in the air. That's why it's called aerial yoga or anti-gravity yoga, because you're going against the gravity. So it is very good if you're somebody who likes a little bit of challenge of hanging on onto something. And this is very good for people who have back related issues, who have certain back pains, or who have very stiff back. Aerial yoga helps you open up your back in a very beautiful way. So aerial yoga could also be your pick. And also, if you're somebody who's generally looking for some fun, some what should I say, something other than the regular monotonous kinds of yoga classes, then aerial yoga is something which is visually very appealing, which looks a little bit more challenging, enticing. You're hanging from ropes upside down. So if you're somebody who's looking for that kind of thrill and who has a stiff back or something, they can choose to do aerial yoga also. Just float in the air, and that kind of a studio will be a good option for you. Then there's something else called mantra yoga, where you do a lot of chanting. You have various mantras or these chants that you do for a few minutes or even hours together, and that's also one kind of yoga. This is more related to that devotional kind of yoga that we were talking about earlier. You must have seen that people, even here in India, a lot of people from the West, from European countries, from United States, they come in here and they join these gangs where they keep chanting Hare Rama, Hare Krishna is one of the very popular chants. There are many kinds of chants there. So that's called mantra yoga. You are just following one mantra or one chant, and your life becomes, your life revolves around it. So that is another kind of yoga, which doesn't involve you to do any kind of physical workout, but it's more of a mental and connecting from heart, offering your devotional self to the higher consciousness or to the higher power, something beyond the body. So that is another kind of yoga. If you're looking for more spiritual purposes in your life, then mantra yoga is a very good kind of yoga for you. So those were the different modern kinds of yogas that we see in the world today. Now comes the question. Now there's so many kinds of yoga. It's such an ancient practice. It has taken all these modern, forms. When in the old times, when I talk about 5,000, 10,000 years ago, the sages and these people who were living in jungle, Himalayas, they were not doing Ashtanga yoga, Vinyasa yoga, hot yoga, cold yoga. They didn't even know these concepts existed, right? They were just doing their meditation in quiet and just connecting with the higher consciousness or something beyond the body, and that was their yoga. But now it has taken many modern shapes. So how do I know that what type of yoga is best for me? What should I pick out of this whole platter? So that's your answer. First of all, you have to see, before deciding what is good for you, you have to first assess what you're looking for. What are your goals? Your physical goals. Are you looking to lose weight? Are you looking to change how you appear? Are you looking to cure certain ailments in your body? Are you looking to enhance strength, flexibility, balance? What is your target? Once you decide that target, then according to that, you can pick up any of the yogas, like the yoga that suits the best for your practice, right? So if you're looking for physical fitness or something, then Ashtanga yoga classes are very good. Vinyasa flow classes are very good. Even Hatha yoga does wonders for you. Bikram yoga is very good. You lose weight very quickly. So these kinds of yoga classes you can join if you're looking for physical goals only. Next is present level of fitness. Now you have a goal. You want to go all fancy about your goals and you want to achieve, you want to set targets, but you have to also be very mindful of where you are today. Suppose I am sitting at a position where, for me, bending over and even touching my knees is a big target. Then I cannot aim extremely high and become extremely, mindless about my own limitations and try to go fancy about it. Then I'm going to hurt myself, my body. So you have to also see what is your present level of fitness. If you are somebody who is just beginning, or who is just opening to the concept of yoga, then you should go to Hatha yoga classes for a while, or Hatha yoga, as they say it in the West. Those classes you should go to, learn the movements in your body, learn how certain joints move in your body, learn to stay in certain postures for some time, and then advance to next levels of Ashtanga yoga or Vinyasa yoga or other kinds of yogas. Then if you Then if you're looking for spiritual goals, if you don't want to do a lot with your body, you feel that, oh, I'm fit, but I am more unfit here. I'm mentally not very in a happy zone, or I want to connect to something beyond my body, or I'm looking for some spirituality in my life. I'm looking to learn more about the concepts like compassion, love, kindness, devotion. Then you could move towards the bhakti yoga route, which is a lot of chanting, meditation classes. That is something that you should look for if you are having spiritual goals in your life. If you're having certain lifestyle related issues, in today's time, because of the sedentary lifestyle, a lot of us have a lot of issues in our body. Obesity is one of the major issues. Then you have cardiac diseases as one of the major issues, digestion related issues, either your constipation or acid reflux or acidity, or bowels not getting cleared, or different kinds of diseases. So if you have these kind of issues, then you have to pay attention to what kind of yoga should you do then. Then you should, again, if you have lifestyle related issues, again move to the most traditional form of yoga, which is hatha yoga, where you learn to control and move according to your breath. First regulate your breath, get into the groove of it, and then advance to the more fancy looking kinds of yoga classes across the board. Also, it is very important, you want to know what yoga is good for you. Yoga is, it comes from the ancient tradition of Indian mythology, you say it, or Indian philosophy, you say it, and how the concept of yoga was circulated around was through this guru shishya, as in the guru and disciple philosophy. The guru taught the disciple, and they said things to them, and they imbibed those things into their personality, and then moved on. So it is very important to have a good teacher, someone you can connect to, someone who can give you a lot of positivity. If you don't have that, then going to any fancy class will not make a difference. Once you don't connect with your teacher, you don't connect with your own selves. So it is also very important to have a good teacher. Then it also depends on your class location. Suppose Bikram Yoga, I suggest that it's very good for you, you want to lose weight. But the Bikram Yoga center from your home or from your residing place is, let's say, 10 miles away. Is it practical for you to go that much distance almost every alternate day? No. You also have to see what is practically available around you. And first of all, get into the practice. First of all, make it a part of your lifestyle, and then take on bigger goals. So you have to consider all of these points before deciding what yoga is good for me. And the last reason, just for fun. If you're looking to break out from the regular monotony of different kinds of workout, you want to explore something new, you want to see how much your body can do on its own, because the other kinds of workouts, they require you to depend a lot upon equipments, starting from your fancy kind of shoes to various weights and blah, blah things of the world. But yoga is something which doesn't require anything. It just requires a mat and you to wear your comfortable clothing and just be with yourself. So if you're somebody who's looking for to explore your own abilities, what your body can do, and just have a little fun around, then you can just pick up any kind of class that works for you. Lastly, I'd like to say that yoga is not just a workout; it's a work in. It's not something where you're going to go pick up weights, get fit, or do 100 postures in a day or in few days and get fit. No, it is a lot about being aware of yourself and moving with the breath. Difference between yoga and all the other kinds of modern exercises is that modern exercises are not emphasizing on your breath, whereas yoga, every moment you have an inhale, you have an exhale. There are postures that there is a in one particular posture, there are times when you inhale, there are times when you exhale. So when once you make this connection with your own breath, then your whole body is in the harmony. I've seen people going to gym and even going out on for a run, or even picking weights, but they don't know whether they have to inhale while picking up weights or do they have to exhale. So more, it might change your physical appearance, you might lose weight, but how good is losing weight if you're not doing it in a healthy and good and holistic way, if your breath is not in harmony with your body. So that's how they say that yoga is not just a workout, it's a work in. You have to go inward, you have to find your inner abilities and find your breath work with your breath, be patient, and the results are going to follow. And lastly, that's me, my presence on the web. I have a website. Then there is me on Instagram by the name of Shobha Rana Official. My brand page is Yogini Square, the Yogini Square. Then I'm on Facebook as well. And you could write to me on the email at team@theyoginisquare.com. We are currently offering yoga classes online across the globe and offering the services to the individuals and also to corporates. Uh, and yeah, so that is a little bit of yoga from my side. If you have any questions, I would love to take them up.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Shobha, for the presentation, for the explanation of the different types, modalities, and the different mindful sets that you have to assume when you want to do something like this. Of course, I do believe that um, this is a kind of it's not a sport at all. It's a state of mind. So majority of the people are looking at yoga culture and the yoga terminology as something that is okay. This is doing yoga, so he's a strange person. No. So when we're dealing with yoga, I think that we have to completely reshape our mental thoughts regarding this. It's like you talking about, I don't know, soccer, volleyball, or something like this. You do love to do that. I respect you for that. The difference is in this is that we combine also mental states in this, and our mental states plays a huge role in this. And the whole system, when you see the whole system, then you have the complete idea of someone and his mind. So let me first close your presentation so we can be better
Yeah, yeah.
in view for our viewers. So the first question is coming from YouTube, and it's a colleague of us is saying, what you mean by holistic first?
Holistic is basically, we are seeing health as a holistic form. When I say holistic, we mean that we are taking into account the physical component of your health, as in if there is any physical level problem in your body, and that is one aspect. Then we're talking about mental health. Is your mind healthy? Are you able to process your emotions in a fine way? Are you able to process all kinds of emotions, positive or negative? Are you able to maintain a state of balance there? So that is your mental health. Then we talk about emotional health. Emotional health also comes under the mental health umbrella broadly. The next up is social health. How are you with people? How are you with your surroundings? If you and I don't have a good relationship, we can't stay in harmony with each other, and it impacts our health, right? If you and I, and if the people that I'm around with, social health is very, very important. You and I cannot live in isolation. You can't be inside your room the whole day. I can't be inside my room the whole day and lead a good life. No, we have to step out. We have to meet with people. So social health is also very important. And it is a proven science that you have to have a good social health to have a good mental health, right? So social health becomes one component. Another component is your spiritual health. In today's time, spirituality as a concept is gaining a lot of popularity in ourselves. All of us want to become spiritual. We want to seek for some higher purpose in our life. Who am I? What is my purpose? That has also become a very defining factor for people in today's time. There are, examples like many people who are at such high positions in the corporates. They want to Some of them quit their jobs and they're looking for who am I, where have I come from, where do I have to go, what is my purpose in life. And even if you're in a job and you're not able to connect with yourself and find your purpose, you're all the time dissatisfied. So you're not in a good health. You could be looking very, very fit from the outside. You could have just the perfect body, just the perfect weight, but holistically, you are not healthy. You are either not healthy on a mental level or social level or spiritual level. So we combine all of these aspects together, your interpersonal skills with people and everything together, and that is called the holistic health,
Yeah,
not just the physical appearance.
and I like the way that you're expressing so much connection. So is this the basis of holistic connection, or connection is just a part of the holistic mental mentality.
Connection is
I
the,
would go for mentality more than holistic as a term because it's a mental status to be holistically involved in the nature, in everything, I guess.
yes. So, Dr. Puyam, yoga as a word means union. Union
Yep.
itself means connection. You're trying to first connect with your own self. You're trying to figure out who you are, what you are looking for, your physical needs, your mental needs. It all starts from you first. Then you go to the people who are around you, your immediate family, people you're living with. Then the circle expands to your friends. Then it expands to society. Then it expands to universe and nature and all of that. So yeah, it is all about inclusive. Being inclusive. When we are not in harmony with the objects, things, nature, people we live with, we are not healthy.
Yeah.
So it is definitely about connection, first with your own selves, then with the people who are just next to you, and then going further and expanding the circle to society at large, then to the country, then to universe and all of that. Yes.
I have another question from Greece, and is a she, is a female. She's asking how much time you should dedicate to yoga, daily basis or weekly basis.
How much time
You have to reserve for yoga purposes, I
for
guess.
yoga?
So it's
Yes.
like daily basis activity or a weekly or an hour daily, weekly, how many times, I guess.
Dr. Puya, it really depends on how you're approaching it. If you're approaching it from a pure and pure physical health perspective, because it's a great workout, there's no denying to that. Of course, it works on all kinds of your, all 360-degree parts of your health, but it is a great physical workout also. You go to a yoga class and you do it almost 4 to 5 days a week, you see physical changes in your body. You start to become more strong, you start to lose weight, and all of your, a lot of issues are taken care of. So yeah, if you're approaching it from a pure physical perspective, you want to be more fit, very good. You should do it for 4 to 5 times for 45 minutes to an hour each time in a week. If you are looking to just break the monotony and you want to maybe continue with your other kinds of workout and you are looking for yoga just to get deeper into your stretches and release tensions from your muscles, then even twice a week is okay. It really depends on how you're approaching it.
There's a question we only have sometimes for the question. This question is very funny, and it's
Yeah.
coming from Norway, and his colleagues is asking why all the people practicing yoga are so skinny.
This is so funny. This is so. You know why people practicing yoga are so funny, are so skinny? Sorry. I'll tell you why. Because as I told you, that yoga works with a lot of mindfulness, a lot of awareness it brings in you. So once you come into the yoga practice, you get more and more involved. You start watching your food on your own. There is no gym instructor, there is no fitness instructor that's going to give you a diet pattern. If you go to a yoga teacher, they're not going to tell you any set diet pattern or something like how they instruct you in a gym. Eat this at this time, before this, before gym, after gym. There's nothing like that in a yoga class. You yourself, because of the practice, become so mindful. You start observing your breath, how it is flowing in your body. Then you start connecting with your organ systems in your body. Why my digestive system is not working? Why do I have constipation? You retrospect. Okay, maybe I'm drinking less water. Maybe I'm not eating enough fiber. Maybe I'm eating this wrong. So you slowly become mindful and you stop eating the food that you shouldn't be eating. You stop eating the food that you should be eating. Then you
I
start
think that you were
connecting
saying
with your
stop,
organ
and we
systems.
really stopped. It's a funny thing.
Then you're able to sustain those practices. Suppose I come and I tell you from tomorrow onwards, don't eat this. Would you be able to follow it? No, you'll follow it for 4 days, 10 days, maybe a month. And maybe you will lose 5 kilograms or 10 pounds you'll lose in a month. Okay, fine, but is that sustainable? No. Until and unless that comes from within me. Until and unless I know the plus and minus of it in my body. And yoga teaches you that. Yoga teaches you to be 100% living in the present. Even when you're eating the food, connecting with the food is an exercise in yoga. There are many, many practices in yoga. So once you start connecting so much, you become so aware that the size of your stomach is literally this much. You're a doctor, so you know, right? So this is this, and how much do we eat? It's an inflatable organ. You can keep putting more, and it'll keep expanding, 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 and we keep torturing our stomachs. Originally, the idea is to eat just this much, no, twice a day is enough for you. for the functioning of your body. So once you become a yoga practitioner, you start learning all of these concepts, and then slowly, you start cutting down a lot of junk food from your life, a lot of unnecessary food that you eat, and that's how you become slightly more skinnier. And of course, it's a lot of body weight exercise. If you're doing yoga, you are taking weight on your own arms and you're taking your full body weight. So of course, it's a lot of body weight exercise also. And if you do weight exercise, you're definitely going to get skinnier as well. So yeah, so it works both ways, on the physical exercise way also, and the mental, stopping you from indulging into a lot of wrong or wrongful eating, or thinking negative thoughts, releasing the stress and all of that. Yeah.
Last question, which looks weird, but it's not, I guess.
Okay.
It's regarding how can I choose my carpet for my exercises?
How can I choose my carpet? So it really depends on your personal choice. To be honest, some people are very comfortable with the usual yoga mats that we get in the market, which are these PEP is the material that they make it from. The PEP material that they make it from. I don't know the full format, but that's a yoga standard mat material that they make it from. So a lot of people are okay with that. A lot of people are becoming more environment friendly these days. They're becoming more vegan, and they're becoming more conscious of their choices. Then they can go for organic mats, which are these jute based mats, thread based mats. They can go for that also. One of the major deciding factors that comes for people for choosing the right mat is the thickness of the mat. If
Yes.
you choose it to be too thin, then all the time your focus is going to be on your body, because when you're, let's say, keeping your knees on the mat and the mat is too thin, then your knee is hurting and you're not able to focus on your practice, and over time you might develop some knee pain also. So you have to really see your comfort and find out what is the right level of thickness of the mat. Usually 6 to 8 is a very good size of the mat that a lot of practitioners. Third
Right.
thing to take into account is that your mat should be anti-skid. It should not be a slippery mat. You don't want to be stretching on a mat and suddenly it slips away and you fall down and you cause yourself injuries. So that is one point that you have to keep in account. So these three, four factors, and then you can choose a mat for yourself.
Great. Thank you, Shobha, for the explanation, the brilliant presentation for all the stuff that in case anyone would love to enjoy you, yourself, your classes, will be able to join that. For those who's interested, I will have to announce this. Of course, I will use this platform to use it. On Friday, I've organized from the association a lesson on yoga, which is going to be based on vinyasa yoga and breathe techniques. It's going to be on Friday. We are providing facilities for all this. It's going to be completely free. It's going to be for 30 person. It's going to be in a park where I'm living in San Mariano. It's going to be in a park, and the teacher or the how to is in this case is not going to be like a yogini. She's a female instructor, so I will go for like instructor. Okay, is it
Right.
correct? Okay, good. So the instructor she is a female. It's called Lucia Corneli, so she's going to take this, and we are going to be live for anyone interested. You can watch us live and you can follow this. And I hope to have a personal, a group lesson with you sooner or later in the next few months, so you can explain to us and do a proper activity for 1 hour or half, or how much you want for the entire world. Thank you so much,
Thank
Shobha,
you very much.
for having you here. I really appreciate this. For anyone interested, this talks will be recorded. Is going to be available in our social media networks, and you can watch and follow our future lesson and ground rounds. Thank you so much, Shobha. Ciao, ciao, and have a nice day.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to meet you here and to connect with your audiences. If your audiences have liked what I said, they can follow me on my social media handles and they can connect with me. They can write messages to me. I try to reply to everybody. I try to share whatever knowledge I have and help people. So that's it. Thank you very much for having me. Namaste. Have a great day.
Namaste. Namaste.